sailor, what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
I'm Paul Bennett, here in Millbridge, Maine. We're located along Maine's Bold Coast, not very far from the U.S.-Canadian border. I'm going to continue this week with our mainframes. Now, I built the mainframes last week, but now they have to be set up on the strongback. When you saw me make the mainframes, you probably noticed that I have a cross piece right here. There's a couple of cross pieces, one down there, that's just to help maintain shape. This one also maintains shape, but it has another purpose. I made some lines across this frame. In those lines is a designed water line set at a specific height to help me set all the frames at the proper height on the strongback. On the plans, what I did is I set this water line at 2 feet 3 inches above the top of the strongback, using the top of the strongback as a baseline. With this piece right here, it'll sit right on top of another part I made. I'm going to cut this right now and I'm going to show you what I did and what's going to happen. But there's a line right here going across. When I built this strongback, I marked where all the mainframes go, and this is mainframe number 2. One I just showed you with this cross piece here, that's the number 2 mainframe. The number 2 mainframe goes upside down like so, but it's not exactly at the right height. It has to measure up, and it has to be aligned with the line I put on the strongback. By convention, if you see this, the edge of this frame, all of the, from amidships going forward, all the frames are going to be, the trailing edge of the frame has to line up with the mainframe line that I have here on the strongback. Going in the other directions, amidships going aft, all of the mainframes, the forward edge of the mainframe lines up with that line. That's just a convention a lot of boat builders use, a lot of designers use, and I kept that same convention here. But so now what am I going to use to mount this frame? That's the next clip. I made these pieces here, which are essentially part of the strongback, and they just have to be mounted in the right place. The frame, the top edge, that cross piece on the frame will be sitting right on top of this ledge. This has to line up. There are the marks. This is going to line up right here. When I have that lined up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to screw it down to the strongback. And now I have a support for that mainframe. You'll see what I'm doing in just a moment. Okay, as you can see, this is just really temporary structure, just like the strongback. The whole thing's into place. It's a little bit wonky now, but that will be stiffened up later with more bracing, just scrap pieces of wood. But for now, I want to hang this mainframe, and this mainframe is just going to go on here like so, roughly, until such time that I have mostly all the frames in place and I'm ready to apply some stringers to help start tying it all together. What I'm doing here is I'm just going to use clamps, just spring clamps, to temporarily clamp it up. Putting this drywall as T-square on that base where I have a center line marked, and I'm lining it up with the center line mark on the frame, and there'll be other adjustments later, but for now this gets it, you know, pretty close, right in the ballpark. I'm just temporarily clamping up this frame into position, and that's all I have to do for now. And now I'm going to start doing some of the others like that. And once those are all erected, there's a keelson that goes along here, There's some other pieces that go here for the twin keels. And of course, the other notches here are where the stringers go. That would be the chine log. This would be the shear clamp. There's another stringer here, midway. And they go along across all the frames. When I have everything adjusted just right, I'm happy, everything's level, things are plumb. And I tie all the stringers in, it'll make it nice and rigid. At that point, it'll be ready for maybe a little additional bracing before I start bending on the plywood sheathing. So there's the first frame in position. That's frame number 2. There is no frame number 1. There is a collision bulkhead though. And the forward collision bulkhead goes somewhere between number 2 and number 1. It's kind of close, so I'll put that one on later. One thing you might notice is that the piece on this one is the forward edge of the cabin. It has a little lip sticking out, so this is actually part of the frame in this case. So that's going to stay in place. And there's a line here, the deck goes right here. There's a little bit sticking up, and that allows me to attach wood to build a cabin that sticks up above the main deck. Remember, this is upside down. I've got the first 3 frames erected, and the rest of them are going to follow suit. Same way. And once I get them all erected, then I'll start fine-tuning, checking with the level and making sure they're all level going across the boat, and making sure that they're plumb back and forth, and getting them all braced, whatever I have to do, before I start inserting the stringers. It won't be long, it's going to start looking like a boat. It'll start taking that shape. Okay, I'm trapped. Not as young as I used to be. Ugh. This frame here is number 5, and this is the last of the frames where the trailing edge is forward of the station line on the strongback. From here on in, all the other frames, the forward edge will be against the station line on the strongback, all the way aft. Okay, last frame, last main frame. Right here, there'll be an intermediate frame, but the intermediate frames won't be installed until after the plywood sides have been put in, because the transom comes at a radical angle and meets where the intermediate frames will be. This wraps up this week's video. I've got all the main frames installed. They just need a little bit of fine tuning, but they're very, very close to where they need to be. See you next time.